What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and thank you all for tuning in. Today, myself and the legend Daniel Blair have got a little bit of a post-race review from Loretta Lind's 2025, some of the best racing we've ever seen, and a lot of top-tier, next-level young talent coming up through the ranks right now. But this is just one segment from the last main event moto show with myself and Daniel Blair. And if you guys enjoy the content with me and DB, I've got a link in my description which will lead you to a show that we do every week with no commercials. Hope you guys enjoy.
All right, Motorheads. Well, Loretta Lynn's is over, and the two tiredest mofos on the planet, which is pretty pathetic because neither one of us rode, but we charged hard. It's me and MattyB, and I don't know about you, MattyB, but my battery is pinging on zero. How you feeling?
I'm not going to lie to you. Mine was drained by Tuesday, but yeah, we had to trust the process. It was a long week, and tired money doesn't make any money. So safe to say I won't be making any money in the next day or two, but it's 1 week a year that you just got to push through, and it's not every day you have that good of racing like within 100 feet of where you're staying for 5 days in a row. I mean, I don't know about you, but I thought it was like the sickest year of racing that I've seen in a long time. I mean, it hasn't been that many years that I've been going and just watching and doing content and paying that much attention, but compared to the last 2 years, this year was amazing.
Yeah, I thought it was some of the best battling. The track was pretty good. The weather was torture the first 4 days of it. It got better at the end, but by then everyone was wiped. What time did you get home last night?
A little after 2.
Oh, that's way worse than me, dude. Okay.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Because then today I still had some more stuff to do. Like I I finally got backed up by the end of the week, so I still had a little bit more stuff to knock out today. But yeah, it's
All right.
the candles burnt, both ends are gone, but we have no choice, and we're here for the moto heads.
That's right. How many steps did you get in? Because I
Um,
didn't keep my phone with me all the time. I kept mine on a charger a lot of the time, so I don't have an accurate read. But dude, you have to have a lot.
so I don't know. Let me check and see if I can see my step total. I think it was well over 100,000, but it was like 54 miles, whatever it was. And so I don't know if we talked about this, but like my knee obviously isn't great, and like it was actually doing all right, but with it not being great, I think I was favoring my air quote good leg, and by Friday, the
Mm.
hardware of my ankle was just killing me in my right leg, so we couldn't do much right. But thank the Lord, man, that it cooled down for those last couple of days, and I feel like you could even tell there was a little extra intensity in the racing whenever it wasn't a trillion degrees in a Dutch
Yep.
oven. Like the kids were froggy.
They sent harder the last 2 days. I would say I'm with you. Some of the best racing I've seen there in years. To me, the Super Mini and the 125 classes are just the most fun. And I don't know about you, but I like the storylines coming out of pro sport and the 250B classes because you got some of these kids that are like on the brink of becoming pros. So it's like you're getting a visual of the future. But to me, the 125 kids are just it's madness, dude. It's pure chaos. The Super Mini kids were the best motos. The
By
best
far,
motos were Super
by
Mini. Every
far.
moto. The 85 10 to 12s were wild. Mini Senior was great. So I would say Loretta's left me feeling like, man, I really like two-stroke little bike action, and then the big four strokes kind of were like not as fun.
No,
I'd
I
say.
I 1,000,000% agree with you, and it makes me so thankful that I made the trip out to a couple of area qualifiers, and then
Yep.
I got to go to a youth regional, and that's like all little bikes, and that's where I saw like little Talon Rogers and Levi Meyer, and I got introduced to. Well, actually, I saw Talon before that, but I got to see those guys face off. But it really, it gave me an interest in amateur motocross because there is just next level talent coming up. Like I wasn't the top kid or anything growing up, but I mean, there was some years where I feel like I was one of the 3 to 5 best kids, and I don't ever remember riding like these kids are riding right now. No chance. And even Darian Sinai and I, we went 1-2 in 2008, and we were watching the '60s, and we were like, yeah, dude, I don't think we were riding like this back in the day.
No, the talent in the pros has worked its way down into the amateurs. A little bit of the style, obviously, of Jet has probably helped with that. Hayden Deegan's just absolute send style wrist locks.
His revving has made its way to amateurs big
But
time.
his revving, but with also Jet's finesse and style and hopping bumps and stuff. Like, I feel like amateur racing has hit a little bit of a new level, the younger years for
100%.
sure.
Yep.
Well, let's get through. So I'm not going to hold you for long. I know you're ready to zonk out for a day. So, but I do want to talk about some of the highlights. And I would say actually probably the biggest low light for me was the last moto of the entire trip, dude. Super Minis again was the best. Every moto was unbelievable. And I personally was attached to that class because we had Colt Martin. He's a kid out at Club MX, a kid I've watched forever, but now have worked with this summer. And dude, he was incredible all week. It was like his breakout, and he had the championship won on the last lap of the last moto and had one of the biggest crashes of the week. You got it on video. I watched your video today, and
How
again,
how
devastated, dude.
could you tell how elated I was covering that? Like that was the
Oh
best
yeah,
racing
you
ever.
used up the rest of whatever you had
Yep,
in that
in that
moto.
moto because I was full blown sprinting from section to section. Like I was so terrified to miss something because those kids are like lightning in a damn bottle. Like I think I said it in the video. They ride like Carson Brown on an Instagram reel for 20 minutes at a time. It's so so
It's
so fun to watch.
yep.
And you told me they're young. Like I'm thinking the Super Mini group's got to be like the hottest prospects right now, just in my opinion.
Well, and they are. So I'll give you all Moto has a little preview and then a review. But going in, it was Darren Pine versus Dane Pappas. That was kind of the, I guess you would say, the projected battle because Darren Pine, he won there last year as a 14-year-old and then broke his femur. His had a bike problem in the second moto, broke his femur, and he was out. And he's one of my Orange Brigade kids on Gas Gas. Dane Pappas won last year in one of the mini senior classes, but those two, they are the premier dogs coming in. They're both AMA 14, so they're Evans age. They're actually 15 right now. They're in Evans age class. They were the favorites, and then there's Colt Martin, who is 14. He's actually an AMA 13,
Mm-hmm.
and Gage Brown, who's an AMA 13, and Nolan Ford, who's an AMA 13. So those three are younger. And those five, and probably Knox Lewin, I would say, put
He
on.
was very impressive. I didn't know
He
anything
was.
about him. I had to real quick take my phone off airplane mode and check live timing because I had no clue who it was. But he was really really impressive.
Okay, so those were the six, and then I would say
The
Reese
shield,
Seba,
the shield was
Chase
decent.
Deshiel. Yeah, he actually had some really good motos in the middle. He's another club kid. He's also a Supercross U kid that I've worked with for the last month or two. And then the other one was Reese Seba, who
Yep.
actually would have been really good, but he's injured right now. He's riding
Oh,
with a
is
messed
he?
up shoulder, so he couldn't even barely hold on. But he would have been a favorite to win if he wasn't hurt.
Oh
He
man,
won.
I
He won Loretta's last year,
I
one of the
wish I knew.
classes.
I wish I knew all this stuff because like I would love nothing more to like tell people like this kid's grinding it out and he's hurt instead of like just showing everybody him going from first to seventh because like it's a
Yeah,
lot cooler.
he's better than that. He's better than that.
I kind of thought so, but I
But
don't.
that was the class. That
Yeah.
was the class. And Colt Martin came out and won the first two motos, like statement, like again, one of the young kids in the class, and put it on Pine and Pappas a little bit. And then they were all trading off motos. Pine got hot midweek. Like it
Yep.
just turned on for him. He was frustrated early, and then he kind of turned it on, ended up winning both titles when it was all said and done. But that last moto, Matt, it was a Pappas versus Martin for the championship battle. Pine really wasn't in it. He was way back mathematically. And Pappas and Martin, dude, they went at it, dude. That was a sick battle for most of that
So
moto.
so sick. I mean, if you heading into the white flag, if you would have had NXT bets betting odds on Darren Pine's championship, it would have been like 20,000 to
Zero.
one. Like, there's no chance. Like, he's 9 points back or whatever it was, and then like I'm sure you saw in that video, like as Colt crashed, I'm waiting for Pappas to go by, and it just never
And he
happens.
never
Like
came he never came
it
around.
just was like a lap and a half explosion, and maybe I feel like you'll probably agree with me on this too, but I also feel like I saw way more Moto 3 heartbreak than I have in the last few years. Like there
Oh
was
yeah.
so much stuff went down to the wire and
Max Shane had a real big heartbreaker.
massive endo, and then even Moto 1 of one of those super mini motos, I felt bad. Like I kind of jinxed him, even though like that doesn't really exist. But like right as Pappas is going into the last corner, I'm saying like if Pappas can get through the last corner, he's got
And
this
he
moto
and he
win, and he
falls.
fell as I'm saying it. Insane.
Yeah, there were some
And
heartbreaks. Wyatt Thurman had a heartbreaker. He had a
yeah,
bike blow up. He probably ends up winning that
how
championship.
how old is he?
He's 15 also. So he's the same age as
AMA?
Pine and Pappas. No, he's
So
AMA 14.
okay, yeah, so he's on it.
He's the best in that age class by a while. I mean, Pine and Pappas are incredible AMA 14s battling in the Super Mini, but then Thurman is winning 250B limited motos
Yeah.
by 15 seconds. So he is freakazoid elite in that class.
And I just feel like it's such like a 180 difference in racing. Like those Super Mini kids could not be twisting grip any harder. Like they're maxed out. Like it's like pros riding pit bikes. Like they're just
Well, because they're big too.
exactly. Like
They're
I didn't know what Dane Pappas looked like, and then he came up to talk to my dad at the end of the day, and I was like, "Hey, who was that?" And he was like, "Dane." And I was like, "What?" Like dude's like
it's like a little.
he's like 3 inches taller than me.
Yeah, like a little 5'9" man.
Yeah, and then I hearing? I swear somebody was telling me that Pappas is a little bit newer to being up front than all these guys.
Yeah, he didn't really start racing fully competitive till he was probably more like 12, maybe.
Oh wow, because I actually
Yeah.
you know
Oh
what?
no, I don't think he's been to Loretta's
You know what? It was his
maybe
dad.
twice.
It was his dad that was telling me that because after he
Yeah,
crashed in the
he's
last
late.
turn,
He's definitely late.
after he crashed in the last turn, I was trying to just say like how good I thought his kid was riding. He's like, yeah, you know, he's still a little bit new to this, so he still does dumb stuff sometimes. But
I
man,
think
he's
this might have been his
impressive.
third year at Loretta's. Third year at
And he
Loretta's, I
won
think.
in his second year at Loretta's. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
No, he's really,
that's
really good. Again,
impressive.
so that's Evan's class. I've watched all these classes forever. I've seen all these kids since 50s. And he is one of the elite kids in that age class, as is Darren Pine, as is Wyatt Thurman. But then you go one age lower.
Is Fitch their age too?
Fitch is their age too.
Fitch is really good. Fitch is really
Yeah,
good.
that's McCaden Fitch. His dad, Bobby Fitch. He actually was like racing nationals and Supercross like not that long ago in his late 30s. And then they got that family has a little 8-year-old who's badass too. So, but no, that age class is badass. But then if you go one younger, that's Colt Martin. And AMA 13s are not supposed to be that good in Super Mini. And you had him, Gage Brown, and Nolan Ford all freaky deaky in that class, like sending the wheels off those Super Minis.
Hey, and those two, it's really hard, or those three, it's really, really hard to outdo that. But my 13-year-old, AMA 13-year-old of the year, and I'm biased, is for sure Braxton Mess. Crushed it on the 125.
Okay, so you have those three on Super Minis as an AMA 13, which is really wild to be that good. Then they have the other one, which is Braxton Mess, who rides 125s in Schoolboy 1, and he won a moto. He won a moto.
I don't know if you saw, but that last moto went down to the last corner. If who was it? I think Hargrove was literally like a foot from passing Bolasina in the last corner, and if he would have got
which
him,
would have gave Brax
the title because Dorman's bike. This is going to come to as a shock to you, Daniel, but Dorman's bike did not make it through the last lap, so that was one of the passes he had to make, and then Hargrove almost fell into his lap on that one, but nothing fell into anybody's lap like Pine, and man, I feel for Tanner Dorman. Like I got to give him a shout out for how damn fast he went and how he got no results. Like that kid is really, really good, really impressive, and he has, unfortunately, from Loretta's 25, not a damn thing to show for it.
No. So again, this is my job for all the moto heads who are probably like, "Who are you talking about?" I got to do my best to kind of bring all these people to light. So let's finish Super Mini first. Okay. So you got Pine and Pappas. Pine wins the titles. Pappas struggled. He should have probably won one or two of them and he blew it. Colt Martin was kind of the breakout star of the week. He crashes out the very last lap. We've mentioned some of these other names. There's one other AMA 13 I have to mention that is a dirty dog like them who wasn't. Well, Tace Morgan too, who also won the mini senior classes, but Easton Graves, who didn't even race. Graves.
Oh, yeah. Race. I was really excited to see Easton because I've never got to watch him race. And then my final question is, how old is Timmerman?
Maddox?
Yeah.
He's an AMA 13 like them too, all in the same class.
Dude, holy stacked. Because I was really, like, he was a little bit loose and he kind of went down in flames in that last moto. But
yeah,
I was really impressed.
He won a bunch of motos too, though. Yeah, and that would be Maddox Timmerman, who is Enzo Timmerman's cousin. Of course, the Timmermans own Mika Metals, which is the longest standing sponsor of anything I've ever done podcast. They were the first sponsor to come on board back in the very beginning is Mika Metals. So shout out to the Timmerman family. Enzo, again, in the pros was a freak, looking like Jet Lawrence out there. And then Maddox, the cousin, he had some opportunities that slipped through his fingers. But yeah, that AMA 13 class is nasty. They're all good, dude. They're crazy good. And Hannah Jameson's in that class as well. So just
Yes,
to
yep.
throw out a little girl name in there, but she's freaky too. She wins the girls championship.
And I was talking to
Um,
her dad before I left yesterday, and he was saying something about them maybe wanting to go do Super Mini next year. And I was kind of thinking, like, ah, man, like Mini Senior is 13 to 15, and she was only 13 this year. Like, I would love to see her back and try to win Mini
yeah,
Senior next year, another year
she
older.
could. And the only rider that would be the big problem for her would be Sawyer Geek, who would be moving up out of the 12-year-old division. But Sawyer is going to the 125 class like Brax Mess did. He's going right up. He's that.
I told
He
Hannah's dad
went
that.
6-0, by the way. Sawyer Geek
Yep,
6-0,
really
unreal.
good, really good. And then if we're on the topic of Sawyer Geek, man, I gotta throw a shout out to Chase Brennan. He rode like a 2003 RM 85 and got a second in a moto.
Yeah,
Pretty sick,
he's
pretty
very
sick.
good. And while we're throwing shout outs, Landon Lee got second
Yeah,
overall in both 85 classes. That is a Supercross U kid I started working with a few months back. They went right on the website, signed up, didn't know him at all, got on the phone with the mom, and I've been just guiding that family every month, just meeting after meeting after meeting. Kid had never been under the tent. I think he'd been under the tent a few times, a couple motos here and there, but he ended up going second overall in both. And talk about becoming something special that kid did this week. He
that's a
was
breakout right there, and
absolute.
that's what you like to see because you and I have kind of had conversations about some kids who have had programs for a long time, and it's cool to see like these kids that have a lot more room to grow, and then they finally they start putting a little bit more resources into it, and you can just see how much more they have in the tank compared
That's what happened
to
with
some of
him.
the kids that are maxed out.
That's this year that family took a leap. They went for it, and he went from highs and lows all over the place to the second best kid to Sawyer Geek, who was the best kid at Loretta's. If we're being honest, I mean, he won every single moto fairly easy.
Was
He's
he? Oh, so Landon wasn't really close to Sawyer. I was going to ask how close the gaps were.
he led him pretty deep into a couple motos, but Sawyer could craft his way to the. I mean, he's a 10 out of 10 prospect. He does. There's not one thing missing from that kid's riding and racing. He's unbelievable. So, but that's some of the youth stuff. Let's get into some of the bigger names here, and then I'll let you go. Timmerman again was,
Awesome
yeah, but I'll tell you what, he just poked a hole in. He created a problem this week,
for
and
Mitch.
no, for the sport, in my opinion. He won a futures round this year. He got 13th at Washougal a week ago, and then he just went 5 of 6 at Loretta's, playing around with his food.
No
And he don't have
ride.
and he don't have a ride next year. And
Yeah,
to
that's a
me,
problem.
there's a perception around Loretta Lynn's that if you go there and you're special, you get something. And if he doesn't get nothing from this, it really, really, really dents the idea that racing Loretta's all the way through the pro class means anything. It means nothing.
What?
It gives you nothing. And he just put a fat period on that. And that's an ugly reality.
No, it's crazy too because like when you think about like because it's pretty new how SMX and futures and all that like that's not necessarily something that's been around for very long. So like even thinking that maybe they would just wait that like Enzo's won a lot of that too, and he still doesn't have anything. So I almost wonder if it's more of like a state of the sport and the fact that I think it kind of stems from the 250 classes backed up with old guys.
Well, I can tell you, I'm working on a show. I don't know if you watched my show from last week on Brian on Hayden Deegan going to the 450s, but I like to in the off weeks put together a discussion that goes pretty deep, and I try to bring a lot of different insight to kind of well round the idea. But I'm working on one of those for the off week between Buds and Charlotte, and I can tell you it's a combination of a lot of things that need to be fixed. Number one, they need a third class badly, like the pro class. They need a third pro class at Supercross and
125s.
Motocross. No, like an SX3 or an SMX3, like EMX has in Europe.
I'm partial to the two stroke. I just want to hear
I
some smokers.
I know, but that'll never happen. There's only
I
two
know,
brands
I
that make
know.
them, so it's impossible. But they need a third class, and I'm working on a grand idea that would I think fix a lot of this because right now there's so much talent they have nowhere to go because you've got the RJs, Jordan Smiths, McAdoo's, Max Anstey's racing in the 250 class, which is considered the intro class, even though it's not. It's just the sports. It's flipped upside down and broken right now.
Well,
It needs to be fixed.
and one more thing I was thinking about, with all these good kids being 13, 14 years old and already being that good, um, it's kind of crazy to me that they're going to have to stay amateur 4 or 5 more years with the whole rule change and all that. I mean, I feel like they're going to be chomping at the bit, like big time, because there's kids that have gone up at 16 that I feel like weren't on these kids' level. And I mean,
Well,
I could be off. Like I spent several years away from the amateur scene, and maybe I get impressed easy, but I've seen some really, really cool stuff.
yeah, no, this is the deepest it's been for talent. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best because I mean, you go back to like Trey Kennard and some of these kids were free Stroop. It's been elite forever, but right now it's the deepest.
Do you
There's
think
so many of them is the issue.
is this an old enough? This is a little bit too old of an age group to be a bunch of kids that got into it during COVID, right?
This is the COVID class. This
Oh
is what it
wow,
is.
okay, okay.
So when COVID hit in 2020, they created a 1-year window where about 3 or 4 of the right aged classes that really get the benefit. Because if you're 6 or 7 and you get to ride a little, okay, that helps you, but you're on a mini bike. Like the kids that were on 85s into super minis, into 125, that block of kid, that class got an injection of more riding and racing than normal, and it got fatter. The class is fatter and better, and that's why these age classes right now, I'd say the 14, 15, 16, 17 age classes are stupid good. And there's just more of them, and they're more and they're better, and they have nowhere to go right now. And now you have the best one, Enzo Timmerman, who's just mopping up everybody, has no ride. And it's because it's too loaded in the 250 class. You got the Barsha, Anderson, Tomac, Roxon, Malcolm Stewart generation that won't go away either. So the whole sport is log jammed. And in my opinion, that's why we need 3 classes. We've grown out of the idea of 2. There needs to be a 450, a 250, and an SMX or whatever they want to
Like
call it class.
a development
Yeah.
class.
That should be your East and West. I mean, honestly, I think 250 Supercross should be one coast. It should be a national championship. And then the third class can be East and West,
That'd
and
be
that should
sick.
be
Yeah.
your SMX. And I'm going to ruffle feathers here in the next couple of weeks when I present the solution to all this, which is going to be so right and they're going to hate it. But whatever, the sport, I study this stuff full time. I live this. I live in the trenches of this stuff. And you have families going to spend $500,000 taking their kid racing, hoping for a shot. They're never going to get it because there's nowhere to go. And it's not fair. And you can't dangle that carrot in front of these families, use and abuse them and take their money and not give their kid a shot. So they need to fix it immediately. But anyways, before we freak out on that, a couple more names I want to present to the Moto heads. Deacon Deno. What are your thoughts on Deno?
Quite possibly, besides racing Kyler and Yumena, I think Deacon Deno is my most impressive rider of Loretta's. I mean, obviously he was fast, he got results, but just being trackside and getting to watch how precise he was and just the technique, just how he looks on the bike, like that
Flawless.
kid is the total damn package. Like, I mean, I think he did have a crash in that first moto of the
Very
week,
first moto.
which is
Yep.
a shocker to me because other than that, I didn't see him put 1 foot wrong. Like he looked like his heart rate was lower than mine was running around the infield of the track. Like he was just picture perfect, man.
So he is an Orange Brigade kid. He is the one that 2 years ago at Loretta's, he was one of the kids that I was interested in signing, and he ended up breaking his femur at Spring Nationals, barely made it through his regional, came back and like barely got through, and then won Loretta's that summer and beat Landon Gordon.
Yep.
I think Gordon won one of them and he won the other one. And I signed him, and then he went on a 250 and he was a little too small at first, and he got hurt like twice in a row and missed like the whole year. He didn't race at all. So last year he didn't even exist. Well, this year he comes back around. He's a little bigger, a little stronger, a little older, and it's been a clinic. I mean, he got second at the first moto at the Redbud Combine against all the A's. And then, yeah, he was the big winner in B. The sad part for me is I think the person he would have battled with the most would have been Jessen Turner if Jessen was there. Those two, I think, would have went at it like you wouldn't believe.
I agree because I think a lot of that class, I think, struggled late in the moto. And just from what I saw from one afternoon at club, I think Jessen would have been just fine.
Yeah, Jessen has broken into that elite speed and technique too. Like Deno, they're actually the same age. They both come from this. Well, Jessen Turner is from Arkansas, but he's lived in Texas his whole life. So him and Deno grew up together. Like they've raced each other their whole life. And they would have been, in my opinion, battling for everything. Where Carson Wood and Vincent Way are kind of more the hype names coming in because they have the resumes and credentials and the rides, but they're younger. They're a year younger, and they're not as polished. Straight up, they're not as polished as Deno and Turner, who are a little older. Simple as that.
The weird thing is when I watch Vincent Way, I actually think he looks incredibly polished. I don't know what's missing, maybe some strength, maybe some maturity, something like that, but I actually love watching Little Way ride. I think he looked great on the bike.
Can I tell you what I think it is?
What's that?
He has had some crazy high lows at Loretta's in his life. This looked to me like a kid who wanted to get through it solid and didn't take a lot of chances and just took his thirds. He was really good. He just wasn't crazy off the page elite, which that's usually gotten him into trouble.
Yeah.
To me, he looked like he was being under controlled, or he was riding under control and just trying to be solid. And he was very good, but also he didn't want to throw it away. And that's what it looked
No,
like to me.
definitely not. And this just crossed my mind while I'm thinking about it. I gotta ask, where do you think Ryder Ellis and who was the other one? Brody Moss, right? Where would they have fit in with all those super mini kids?
Right in the middle of that whole
So
nonsense mess and
you're
battle.
telling me it could have been even better?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And how old are they?
They are both the same age as Pine and Pappas, same age class.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Which also in that age class is Wyatt Duff, who got second in the 450B Limited.
Unbelievably
Same age class.
impressive. Did you see though? He went like 10-8-3 or something crazy.
For second overall.
He got second. He passed whoever it was. He got him in the last corner, and that got him second over Bauscher.
Yeah, so that is the 13 and 14 classes are nasty, and this
Not
and
to
the
be messed
50.
with.
Okay, but then here's the 15-year-old class, just so you know: Gibson, Dennis, Way,
Where was Dennis?
Wood. He broke his femur in a car accident like a month ago.
Wait, what? That was what it was? I heard you say
Yes.
off the bike.
Yes, he got in a car accident, broke his femur. He was
What?
around on crutches all weekend.
No way. That was
Yes.
not what I was expecting whenever you said off the bike. I thought he was messing around and doing something.
So anyways, that's that age class too. That's a crazy psycho age class as well, is the 15s.
Where
So
would Dennis have fit in, do you think?
he would have been right there with Deno
Wow,
probably
really?
behind Deno. He probably would have been with Way. I would say they would have. I feel like they would have been very equal.
Man, it makes me like, because the racing was already so good, it makes me wonder, like, gosh, like, imagine if, like, everybody had actually showed up. And then,
That's why we need an SMX3 class, because you would have all of these kids together 2 years from now, and it's so stacked. It's more stacked than the pros, and they have nowhere to go.
yeah.
Like I'm telling you, there's 20 kids in a 3-year block that are incredible with nowhere to go.
Oh, Canada.
I mean but we're talking $500,000 invested in these kids.
No, I
and
know.
it's just not fair. And we don't want to like wash them out, because they're going to eventually be the 450 stars of this sport in 6, 7, 8 years too. So the sport needs to not be reactive and be proactive and get in front of this thing. And they need to do it. It's just,
I mean, it's going to be crazy whenever those kids when those kids make it to actually be pro. Like, if you have been able to weather the storm and make it through this group of kids, like, holy crap, you are going to be a dog.
Whoever wins out of this is a dog's
It has
dog.
never been so competitive. Like, I mean, even just my age group, like, whenever my AMA year, it was pretty much like AC pedestal, and then little tiers from there. And like, I don't ever remember a year around me where it was like any of these 6, 7, 8 kids could win at any time. Because like even the 125 class, like there was a lot of variants, like similar kids up front, but I think there was like 4 different moto winners or something like that. So
Yeah,
it's been fun.
It's good. Last thing, I'll let you go. Racing Kyler, a girl wins the 10 to 11 boys 65 class. It's never happened before. And right before it happened, a little girl named Yemena Bernie. Oh, I think we got Joe popping on here.
Dude, I thought Yemena was going to do it that moto before.
There he is. Joe, you got in here right at the right time. We're talking about amateur racing, and we're talking about 65 riders and girls that beat all the boys' asses. You came in the right time.
It's my specialty.
MattyB is about to check out, Joe. He's struggling. The gas tank's on E, but we're just going to wrap up. MattyB, Yemena burning in the 65 7-9 class, literally second overall, crazy good. She's a NorCal girl.
And a third. Backed it up with another podium.
So I've coached her since she was on a P-Dub 50. I've known that family forever. And then, of course, Racing Kyler wins the boys class. in the 65 10 to 11 class. So your thoughts? You watched it.
Absolutely insane. Shoot, I'd never seen Yumena before. I wouldn't have even known who she was if not for hearing her name from you. But the first moto, like I figured, there was Yumena, racing Hannah Jameson, and then Lala in the B class. So I was trying to do video recaps of just like the girls racing with the boys. So the first one of the week was 65 7 to 9, and it was Yumena. And the first lap they came around, I guess I missed her. And then the second lap, I'm like, wondering where she is. And she's in second. And then she like goes to the lead. I mean, she couldn't have been any more legit. I mean, if between the two of them, I got to be honest, I thought it was going to be Yumena that was going to win, um, rather than racing, because I thought Cannon Zabanik and Geis kind of had a hold on those 10 to 11 classes. But you got to be in it to win it, because racing was consistent. And I first saw her at the South of the Border Regional, and
Which she won.
she only lost one moto the whole week. And even that one moto she lost, it was due to a crash, and she still almost won. So I thought she at least had a chance. But to see her actually do that was unbelievable. Like I don't even hardly know what to say about it. It was
Yeah.
insane. It was
She was on
so cool.
she was on Fox and Friends today, which was pretty cool. And Eric Sorby is her coach, by the way. Shout out to Sorballs. I don't know where that nickname came from. It came from decades ago, but Eric Sorby is legitimately a great coach, and he's been working with her for a long time. And I actually think the world of him. He was Landon Gibson's coach when he first got onto a big bike also, and did a lot of great things with Landon in the very beginning. But yeah, Eric Sorby is the coach. Racing Kyler gets the championship. And Joe, yeah, kind of a girl takeover. And then
Fully.
Lala, by the way, Lala is, oh my gosh, she's
So
unreal.
DB, the one of the videos I posted today, it's really long because it's like all those girls' motos, but part of it is Lala's last 250B moto, and it's badass, dude. She's just blowing through people,
Rip through the
bending
pack.
stuff. Like it was so sick, and like I feel almost a little bad for Lala and Hannah Jameson because they were incredible. Like they were so good. I mean, Hannah had a couple crashes and she threw away her first moto, but like still they showed so much, and I feel like they've been a little bit overshadowed by the just mind-boggling insanity that was racing in Yumena. And even I kind of feel bad for poor Yumena, man. Like she was within a couple of feet of beating Racing to it, and then Racing's on Fox and Friends, and
Like a couple motos later.
she was so close, man. Like I hate it for her, but like it's so cool at the same time. It really is.
All right, Motoheads, I'm going to let MattyB go. Matt, the YouTube channel is full of action. So if you want to check it out, if you haven't yet, go to Matt's YouTube page and have fun. Because this madman, Joe, I think what'd you do? You did like 100 miles or something?
Nah, 54.
Oh, 54 miles in steps this week, covering Loretta's videos, dude.
Bud.
Without choice, baby.
That's some hobo Nick numbers right there, dude. All right, bro. We'll let you go. Get some sleep, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, boys. Have a good rest of the show, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Later.
Later.